I don't think consultative selling means what you think it means. When I ask people the question, what is consultative selling? What I hear a lot is people saying, well, when you sit down with somebody and you're a consultant, you tell them what they need to do and you tell them how to fix it. And it's based on trust. And I would say, yeah, okay, you're about 25% of the way there. In my mind, consultative selling is you're sitting, I don't know what the word is, not proverbially, but sitting on the same side of the table as your prospect, asking them questions to help identify not just the problem that they've come to you with, but to dig deeper and find out what's the real root cause that's causing the problem. What is it deep down that's causing that problem? Most salespeople, you probably are hearing the prospect give you the symptoms, and then you go to solve the symptom. Well, a true consultative salesperson digs in deeper and deeper to find out just what the prospect's opinions are about their current situation. Not just the facts, not just the data. What are their opinions? And that comes from peeling back the layers of the onion. Because remember, the problem the prospect brings you is rarely the real problem. So once you've identified that and you've built enough trust so that somebody can share with you or figure out with you, more likely, what the real problem is, then you can make suggestions. But here's the key to that. If you're truly consultative, you'll be happy to point out solutions that don't benefit you or that may not cause a sale for you. Maybe even recommend a competitor, or that they do nothing at all, or that they fix it themselves. Can you do that? So crazy enough, here's how I had this thought. I was in Asheville last weekend. My wife and I went up for our 28th wedding anniversary, which is a big deal. We love Asheville, been up there a bunch, hadn't been up there lately. But we were walking down the street and there were these vendors selling things. And there's this guy selling what he called funny cards, right? He was a cartoonist and he been published in the New Yorker a couple of times, blah, 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 blah. So I made a mistake of picking up one of the cards. And as soon as I did that, he jumped into sell mode. And he told me how smart he was, how great he was, how many he had published, that I should look at this one, I should look at that one, I should buy this book, this is a great deal, I should do this. And he never shut the fuck up. Didn't shut up. And finally, he tried to push a book into my hand that was a great deal. He'd make a deal for me at $19.95. And I said, stop. I have no interest. I was looking. It just pissed me off. And so this is what a lot of salespeople do, right? They go in and they try to convince. And they want to convince because what they say is, I need to educate my prospect, because that's what they think consultative selling is educating the prospect on why they should buy. That's the opposite of that. That's the opposite of being a consultant and truly doing that. If you go back to one of two of our main tenets in the No BS sales process, number one is you're not the right fit for everybody. You're not the right fit for everybody. And we can take that a couple different ways. One is easy to point out the ones that, don't have our values, don't match our values, don't have any money, don't whatever. But sometimes it means maybe you spend some time with somebody in your sales call and you've helped them figure out, you don't need me. As a matter of fact, you should talk to this person. Or you should go fix that yourself. You don't need my help, right? We're not the right fit for everybody. I go back to a story, exactly this, where it's not in your benefit. I was talking to the guy about mowing my grass years ago. I hate mowing the grass. I don't like doing it. I like taking care of the yard. There are a million things I'd rather be doing. And my wife and I decided we had to freaking mow the grass, had to take care of it. It's just been delayed too long. So I called this guy. He comes over and he's a young kid in the neighborhood. And he says, how much do you think it would cost for me to mow your grass, Mr. McKay? I thought, well, that's a pretty damn good move. That's good. And I said, I don't know, $100? He laughed and said, no, Mr. McKay. He says, your neighbors right over there, he goes, they pay me $200 a month to come do this. And to do a one-time cleanup, I'm going to have to charge you that $200. I'm like, God dang, that's crazy. And instead of leaning in and tell me why I should hire him, you know what he said? You can do it yourself for a lot cheaper. You can do it yourself for a lot cheaper. And you know what? He was right. I knew that, but I didn't want to do that. But he had the guts to say that. When somebody pushes back, when somebody says to you, wow, that's a lot of money, you say, yeah, you can get it somewhere else for cheaper, that's for sure, which feels bizarre. Encourage them. Say, hey, you can go to the Chinese company down the street. They'll definitely do it cheaper. Dig in and find out, how important is it for somebody to get something done right? How much does it matter? Why do they care? How does it impact them if they don't get it right or if they do? Figure out, find out, ask, help them discover what their budget is. How much money they're ready, willing, and able to spend. How many resources can they put towards it? How much time can they spend working on it, right? How much? So that's the whole part of budget. And then you got to find out, what's their decision-making process? When are we hoping to make a decision? Why then? Who else besides you needs to be a part of it? What would you need to see to be able to make a decision? Your job as a consultative salesperson is to understand your prospect. Probably you'll understand them better than anybody else around this problem. And it means you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. It means you have to ask some pretty hard questions, which you may figure out that this is not going to be the right fit for me. At that point, you can either make a suggestion of where else they can go, or you can just say, I don't know that I can help you with this. So one of the other tenets that we have in our world is, in the no BS world, is that you are to be the guide and not the hero. This again goes to the essence of consultative selling. Couple of things, right? A hero has to save the day. They're the person with a problem at the beginning of a story, and they go to solve it. And sometimes along the way, they'll find a guide. Think of it like Yoda, right? In Star Wars and Luke Skywalker. Yoda was the guide. He didn't want any credit. He was just the wise person that offered advice so that Luke Skywalker could be the hero. A lot of people in sales that go into sales to be the hero. They got to close the sale, ring the bell, win the day, solve the problem, be the hero. Well, who's that all about? Right? It's about the damn hero. And what I would tell you is, I don't know, that's kind of arrogant. Not the kind of people I want to work with. What if instead your mindset was, I want to be the guide. The guide doesn't have to work with everybody, doesn't have to save everybody. They choose who they work with. They help their prospect through a process to understand what's really going on, what they really want, what really matters, what they're truly trying to solve, or what if they solved would make the symptoms go away. Digs down to understand. And then the guide is able to offer a solution, and maybe it's one that involves hiring the guide, or maybe it's one that says, you know what, you ought to go talk to somebody else over there. I think they can help you more with this. And then at least that prospect is armed with the information they need to get the real problem solved. Selling is not about convincing. Selling is not about telling. Selling is not about being the hero. Consultative selling is slowing down, is seeking to understand deeply the person you're talking to understand where they come from. Why is this problem important? How long has it been going on? What have they tried to do about it? What happens if they don't fix it? And not by guessing or saying, I think this is, ask the questions. That's the way you can truly be a consultative salesperson. It will make all the difference in your world. It will change your relationships with your prospects and customers and clients. You'll get referred business and probably work with fewer people. Does that sound good to you? It does to me. If you want to learn more about my process, buy my book, Some Will, Some Won't, So What, Who's Next? It's on Amazon. You can find it. Thanks.